First off, I see all the spoilers that are already swirling around the internet for this movie. They dropped like a rock, well, actually, like a bolt of lightning earlier today. It's shocking how many spoilers have dropped. And this is a spoiler-free business analysis. And my coverage will be spoiler-free, and I'll be very careful with thumbnails, etc. I think this is becoming a real problem for this genre. I think spoilers are actually impacting the movie-going experience. And Hollywood's got to fix this, but I'm going to do my part. All right, so anyway, I just saw Thor Love and Thunder, and wow, what a commercial for Thor 5! Oh man, I'm actually super disappointed we have to wait so long for Thor 5. I want it now! Taika Waititi probably hasn't even started writing it yet, although he clearly has some very strong, very good ideas. But he has to make that Star Wars movie first. I mean, he's done a nice job in Star Wars too. But I'd much rather he focused on Thor 5 after this wonderful setup, right? Completing his Thor trilogy. That's clearly what they're doing. What Thor 1 and 2? Taika Waititi is doing his trilogy. And I'm here for it. I am here for it. Although that makes this very much a middle chapter, as you'll see when you see the movie. So I sure wish I could watch Thor 5 right now. I'm sad we have to wait. But I watched Thor 4. That's the movie I actually saw. And so yes, it's time for a business video with the review embargo lifting July 5th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Very close to when the movie actually comes out. And I'll tell you in a moment why they showed the movie so early to press. But let's talk about the spoiler situation first. The end of the movie is so fun with a really big change for Thor and two fantastic end credit scenes. I mean, these are the kind of end credit scenes that have made Marvel famous and so successful. I love these end credit scenes with huge ramifications. So, you know, this is good spoiler stuff. This is good tea. So, of course, it's already leaked and it's all over the internet. Good luck avoiding spoilers. I don't know if you can avoid them. And that's really a shame because I think that it will affect, you know, your viewing experience. Especially because everything here happens so quickly that the fun is the reveal, not so much the execution. I hear, where are these leaks coming from? Well, I hear the leaks are actually not coming from the press screenings that started today, including the premiere in Los Angeles, but I hear they're actually coming from Marvel test screenings, which have become very leaky. But the more people who see this movie, the more they screen it for anybody, the more people are going to whisper about it, especially since, as I said, it's so whispery. And the whispers trickle down, and unfortunately, as that happens, they get louder and louder. And as I tweeted earlier, I can't even tell you what words to mute because that would involve a spoiler in and of itself. Now, why did Disney Marvel show this movie so early? What the heck, man? Well, it's because the 4th of July holiday falls on a Monday, so media and even talent are going to be traveling for the holiday, not just before Monday the 4th of July, but I believe probably the week of 4th of July as well. So Disney Marvel needed to get out ahead of the holiday to accommodate press for the film, to make sure that everybody's stories were ready in advance and uploaded to go during that holiday period. That's the problem with releasing a film like right after the 4th of July. It puts you in a precarious situation press-wise. And so maybe they should stop releasing movies then. So anyway, let's start with the good stuff. Box office. Now, I believe Doctor Strange 2, hold your horses, Doctor Strange 2 fans, let me finish, has benefited tremendously from riding the coattails of Spider-Man No Way Home and WandaVision, two very strong lead-ins. But with this movie coming after the slightly disappointing Doctor Strange 2 and the type of movie that it is, my guess, and Doctor Strange 2 has come very close to $1 billion. It's right up at the edge. But I think that this movie will actually match or make slightly less than Thor Ragnarok, which came in at around $850 million, including $112 million from China. I wager Thor Love and Thunder's worldwide gross will also have an 8 in front of it, and maybe a 7 if it does not play in China. And I suspect there's a good chance it maybe won't play in China. This is a Marvel movie, though. You never know with a Marvel movie. They're a bit of a wild card at the box office because people sure love them some Marvel. Like, to me, Doctor Strange 2 was one and done. Like, you see that once and then you've seen it enough times. And I know some of you agreed with me, but a whole bunch of you did not and saw it multiple times in theaters. I would love to know why down below. Like, honestly, I'm honestly asking you because it helps me gauge which movies have a rewatchability factor. And Doctor Strange 2 did. I believe it was Wanda Stans. And I also think that those Illuminati cameos, no matter how ephemeral, which means basically meaningless, they still counted for something. As for Thor Love and Thunder, as I said, this seems more like a middle chapter. Far better than Thor 1 and 2, which we're going to obviously just forget ever happened. But not quite as focused as Thor Ragnarok. To me, this is also one and done in theaters, to be honest with you. But I would definitely rewatch it again on Disney+. I think this would be a very pleasant movie to revisit. I have no interest in seeing Doctor Strange 2 again, to be honest with you. So my question is to you, I mean, you'll know once you see the movie, but will you just wait the 45 days? Because, there was some question as to whether or not Doctor Strange 2 would go to Disney Plus in 45 days. I told you I heard that was the case, and it did happen to be the case. So that means Thor Love and Thunder will hit Disney Plus in mid-August. Although there's no big other movies coming out for the whole month of July. So if you feel like going to the multiplex, you might go rewatch Thor Love and Thunder, because as I said, it's very pleasant. The action here, though, feels very green screeny, and I'm not sure if that's due to the pandemic. These recent Marvel movies are a bit mid, and it might be the pandemic factor. But I know a lot was cut from this movie as well. There is a longer cut out there. That's interesting. Although I don't think this movie screams for a longer cut. All right, we'll discuss it more when we actually can talk about the movie. But anyway, the action scenes are limited in scope. I can't think of a single standout, intricate action scene, which is weird for this type of movie. But the movie is more about the humor. Oh, it's so funny, really funny, particularly the first half. And also it's about moving Thor's story forward, as well as his corner of the MCU, which it does quite compellingly. Again, Thor 5 can't get here fast enough. Thor 5 could maybe make $1 billion, the way that it's set up, although Taika Waititi's touch is very light, which I love and find quite charming, but I'm seeing that that's not for everyone. A lot of you did not like Thor Ragnarok, which is crazy to me, but you're out there, and your numbers are not small, and this is even more Taika Waititi style than Thor Ragnarok. The Thor Love and Thunder runtime is a scooch under 2 hours, including credits, though. And because it includes not one, but 2 major Thor storylines from the comics, as many of us feared, it simply doesn't have the time to do either one of those storylines justice, even though there are thrilling moments woven in there, particularly with Gore the God Butcher, who has all the problems of a Marvel villain. Again, we can discuss that more when we can talk about the movie. Anyway, everything in the movie happens very quickly. Like, it just all seems very fleeting. Like, you're like, oh, it's over already. Nothing really has time to marinate. So again, that's why I said it's like very pleasant. It's a pleasant film. I do like being in this world quite a bit. When the MCU logo played in front of the movie, because it had Moon Knight in it. Because one of you pointed out when we watched Ms. Marvel the other day, the latest episode, that they'd added Moon Knight to the logo. And I was like, oh, I wonder if Moon Knight's in this one. And sure enough, he was in the exact same spot. It was the exact same logo. So it wasn't even a new logo with a different lineup of characters that were showcased. It was the exact same one from Ms. Marvel the other day. And it struck me that it was no longer like a feeling of awe to see the MCU logo, because we see it almost every week now on Disney+. And in an effort to distinguish the movies from the shows, the MCU is focusing on spectacle for their big screen outings. And they're trying to pack a lot in, maybe pack too much in. Maybe that's why they did 2 Thor comic book storylines here instead of 1. And I think that they're not focusing enough on story anymore, because there were really good story moments and things did marinate in previous Marvel theatrical releases. Almost all the really good spoiler stuff is at the end, not during the film. A lot of you have had theories about stuff that's going to happen in the film. You shall be disappointed. All right, anyway, also, wow, talk about star power. You really feel the loss of Loki this outing. He's been in every other Thor movie. He's not here, and I missed him. I miss that guy. But he's got his own successful streaming show, speaking of Disney+. It's just started filming season 2. And it's great to see these 2 brothers succeed in show business, right? Thor started out as the weakest of the Trinity movies in the MCU, and they're the last ones standing. and I'm having a great time. Will this movie have any controversy, which is unfortunately a new category in our discussions these days? There are already a lot of hate clicks being generated on women taking over the MCU. But once you see this movie, you'll see that it's clearly not the case, which is a bit of a letdown, I think, for fans of Jane Foster and Valkyrie. And in fact, ironically, the movie could have blowback from those fans who are going to feel like more was promised than delivered. However, for all of you boycotting Lightyear over the LGBT character, Thor Love and Thunder sees your boycott and raises you to 2 LGBT characters in Thor Love and Thunder. Still no real meaningful representation though, so you wonder what this fight's all about if they're going to continue to kind of like half-ass it. But anyway, nobody kisses here. King Valkyrie, by the way, does not get a queen. So I think she was genuine when she teased that at Comic-Con, and I don't know why they decided not to pursue it ultimately. I don't know if anything was shot. I hadn't heard any spoilers or tea about who she was referring to, but it did not show up in the final cut. But there's definite clear discussion of LGBT relationships and families. But it's like, why are we doing all this if it's not meaningful representation? Like, why are we getting into these fights if you're not even delivering good LGBT characters? All right. We will discuss it when we can discuss it further. However, Doctor Strange 2 did feature America Chavez and her 2 moms, and that still made a ton of money. That made a ton of money, almost $1 billion. So right now, the conservative audience's boycott is inconsistent. Zeus also did talk a lot about orgies, a surprising amount for a film that's supposed to be family friendly. So we'll see how conservative audiences react to all of this. But I will say that the film overall has a very progressive mindset. But I think that works because it reflects the progressive character that Thor has become, a warrior who wears his heart on his sleeve. And I think it's quite charming. I'm also very curious to see how audiences feel about this really big change for Thor. I feel there will be strong opinions. I'm not even sure how I feel about it. I think that it has to be handled very carefully. I can see it going great, and I can see people ruining the day that they made this change. It's a huge change. It's a very big deal for a core Marvel character, not just in the MCU, but in the comics. And I do wonder if this change will be reflected in the comics, which could be cool if they do it well. I will also say that there are a number of young children in this movie who are in danger. And without spoilers, as I promised, with all the school shootings these days and children being asked to hide and in some cases having to fight for their lives for real, I did not love that aspect of this film. I thought that to include this here was in poor taste. I did not like it. It actually brought tears to my eyes, and in a way, but not like in a good way, in a this is too much way. So those are my initial thoughts on Thor Love and Thunder and my business analysis. Bottom line, while it might not have turned out great, it does what a Marvel project at the end of the day needs to do and why the MCU is so successful. And that's that it gives fans a lot to talk about and gets you really excited for what's next. Oh, Thor 5, I'm so excited! And remember, the review embargo lifts July 5th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I'll have plenty of awesome Thor Love and Thunder spoiler coverage where, as I said, we have so much to discuss about this movie and what's next. That coverage will start dropping all through the weekend as soon as the movie hits theaters on Thursday evening. So share your initial thoughts down below. Please be careful of spoilers. Don't be a jerk and put the spoilers in the comments. Be really careful, everybody. Be careful. Good luck avoiding those spoilers. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.